Welcome everyone to another edition of Play It Through, and on this edition it's the Addams Family, brought to us by Ocean. Based on the first of the Addams Family movies that were made in the 1990s, you play as Gomez Addams trying to rescue his family as well as his family fortune. The Addams family's evil lawyer Tully has taken control of the mansion as well as the money, and he's kidnapped all the members of the family and hidden them throughout the house in different types of predicaments. In the game, we must rescue all the family members as well as earn a certain amount of money so we can enter the vault at the very end of the game in order to save Morticia and complete the game. So here we go with the Addams Family for the NES. When you start the game, you are given a hint about gravestones and one of them leading to the crypt area. And that's the first area we'll be going to in the game. Inside the crypt we can collect some items as well as a decent amount of money. When we first pass the Addams Family Mansion, you can actually see Pugsley's legs sticking out from the side of the house. Unfortunately, he's actually one of the last members of the family we're able to save. Overall, the game is a typical platformer where you're jumping on different types of enemies in order to take them out. And being more of a horror-themed game, there are typical horror-themed enemies, ghosts, skeletons, and the like. However, your life bar can go down rather easily sometimes from certain enemies, and overall the controls for jumping can be a little bit tricky at times. Here we enter the crypt and start off by entering the first door in the upper left, climb up using the bone in order to get up to the skeleton so you can collect some money, then go up the left path. You'll have to wait for the bones to travel over so you can then use them in order to jump up. As you can see here, if you stand on the edge of the platform, even though it looks like we're standing on a spike, we're not actually damaged by the spike and we can stand there and wait for the bone to come back over so we can continue upwards. Do very small steps here so that you can avoid the bones when they fall down, and be sure to grab the item in the upper right corner and then head back down to the door below. Watch out for the giant skeleton at the bottom, taking him out in order to get the front door key, and then go into the next door, this time going into the bottom left door. Do the same thing we did before, collecting the money bags on the right side, and then go up the left side. This room is pretty much identical to the one we just did, so as long as you got the controls down for that, you should have no trouble getting up here. When you get up to the top, once again watch out for the bones and grab the money bags, and then head back down to the bottom. Since you already have the front door key, you won't need to fight the skeleton again. Instead, use the rope to jump up to the upper right door. This time, since there's no items on the right side at the beginning, you don't have to climb up there, and instead you can just go right to the left side of this room. Thankfully, the rooms are different colors, so you can tell which rooms you've already been into. However, this room is actually very important because we find the bone item in the upper right corner. The bone item is one of 3 different items you need to create a potion for Pugsley. You create the potion and give it to him, and that's able to shrink him just enough to get him out of the side of the house. You don't need to check out the 4th door unless you really want to. Instead, we're just going to exit out here and then head back over to the main mansion itself. Now with the front door key, we can actually go inside. When making your way back, of course be sure to grab the money and as well as the jewels along the way, as you can build up that money count pretty good already at this point in the game. Once you're inside the main door, head up the main staircase and then work your way over to the right. You'll end up in the landing area. Start heading up here, jumping up along the ceiling so that you can actually grab yourself some money bags. In the next room, be very careful of the knights that are trying to bring down their swords on top of you. Eventually, you'll come to the master bedroom. Inside here, be sure to use the bed to jump up all the way. You can actually end up saving Thing. He's the first of the family members we end up saving. Once you have Thing as well as the money in the area, just start working your way back over to the left. When you make it back to the opening room, go inside the painting itself. You'll find yourself in one of the secret rooms of the game. There are several of these, and they all look pretty much the same, but they have a ton of money bags to grab. Watch out for the falling sword on the left side and then exit out of the room. Now, work your way over to the left side and enter the next room of the landing. Enter the first door you come to and you'll be inside the toy room. Bounce your way along these different boxes when they're smiling only, as if they're frowning you'll only fall through them. Be sure to grab the snorkel in the upper left corner, watching out for the evil teddy bear, and then exit out of the room. You'll need the snorkel later on so you can actually travel underwater. Enter the next door and you'll be inside the bathroom. Just jump up quickly, grab the money bag, and then you can exit out of that room. Enter inside the next room, you'll be inside Wednesday's room. Grab the money along the shelves and the wooden key. Then drop down to the door, trying to do your best to watch out for the killer headless dolls. Next to that is Pugsley's room. Jump up and jump over the tank with the fish in it in order to grab yourself some money. Once you have that, go over to the right and drop down the hole. This is actually where Pugsley is located, but we don't have the ingredients for his potion, though he will tell you what they are. Start heading over now to the left. When you make it to this tree, watch out for the owl dropping eggs on you and go inside the tree. That's why we have to get the wooden key. Work your way up here, and it can be rather tricky because the platforms you land on will sometimes fall, so just quickly get off the spikes if you end up landing on them. This is probably the trickiest jumping area we've been to so far in the game. Be sure to collect a little bit of money that's along the way and grab the giant blue egg in the upper left corner. This is another one of the ingredients we need in order to make the potion. We now have only one more ingredient we need to find. Once you grab the egg, watch out for the plants as you make your way back up into the main entrance of the house. When back inside, go into the right door. You'll be inside the kitchen. Drop down to the door just below you and you'll be inside the freezer area. Obviously, being ice on the ground, you're going to be slipping and sliding all over the place, so try to do your best to watch out for the giant icicles that will fall from the ceiling. There are some giant penguins which will also be bouncing around, but thankfully you can jump on their heads in order to take them out. Over here is one of the trickier parts, as you can only jump straight up in a gap, so you'll have to go gap by gap, wait for one of the snowballs to roll over so you can jump over it and then move on to the next one. When you finally make it past that area, watch out for the giant ice cubes. They're going to slowly bob in and out of the water. When they're up, jump across them quickly, grab yourself an extra life, and then grab Wednesday, who's now frozen at the top part. Unfortunately, you haven't saved her yet because you'll have to thaw her out in order to do so. Now you'll have to work your way back through this area, once again going gap by gap, making your way past all the snowballs. Once you make it past the snowballs, work your way along the platforms just like we did before, watching out for the icicles that have reformed on the ceiling area, as well as the jumping penguins. Eventually, you'll finally make it to the end of the freezer area. You'll be back inside the kitchen. Watch out for the flying silverware as you make your way over to the furnace. Go over here and go inside and you'll immediately thaw out Wednesday, so you'll save her. You'll then be inside the furnace itself. Start making your way along the platforms, watching out for the giant fireballs that move along the ground as well as the ones that bounce out of the ground. Here, just take your very slow time making through or run through quickly to try to avoid as much of the fire as possible. Thankfully, this is a rather short area. Watch out for the flames at the very end, climb up the platforms, and save Grandma. She mentions that if you're able to find her wrench, she'll be able to fix the fog machine. And that's important because we actually need a piece of fog, yes, an actual piece of fog, as the final item that we need in order to create the potion for Pugsley. Make your way back through all the fire and then go through the door at the very bottom. Once again, watch out for all the pots and pans and silverware flying at your face, and try to make it into the upper left door. Once back out here, watch out for the spider and then go through the right door in order to enter the dining room. Drop the chandelier on the guy below and you'll be able to take him out. Then be very careful of the plants and work your way over to the right in order to grab yourself the umbrella. This will be used when we actually get to the fog machine area. We can go down the chimney, and you'll be able to use the umbrella to slowly descend, being able to collect a ton of extra money as you do so. Once you have that, go back to the main hallway and then go over to the left in order to enter the gallery. You can see all the pretty poorly done portraits in the background. Watch out for the killer bearskin rug and then enter the door into the library. Grab one of the music manuscripts, the first one that we see here, and then pull the lever in order to summon Lurch. Lurch goes to the ballroom and starts playing that music. Once you've done with the cutscene, exit out of the door and then start heading back over to the right to the gallery area. Once again, watch out for the killer bearskin, and be sure to jump along the portraits if you want to in order to get some extra money if you do need it. As you can see, the eyes of the portraits do end up following you, and they are quite weird looking when they do so. Back in the main hall, watch out for the spiders and then go up into the main door. Here you'll see that Lurch is actually playing music, which allows the ghouls in order to actually move past the door that we need to get to in order to go outside into the wooded area. The wooded area is quite annoying as you have tons of birds flying overhead dropping items on you, as well as apples and trees, and some of those weird Frankenstein-esque monsters trying to run back and forth. Just take your time very slowly while maneuvering your way through. It'll take some getting used to, but thankfully there is a big piece of cheese to recover some of your health along the way here. Once you make it past this frog, you'll eventually come to some water. Make a big jump over the water by using the frog to bounce off so you can get over to the money on the left side. Once you've collected that money, drop down to the pond itself. Here you have some of the worst swimming controls I've seen on the NES. So it'll take some getting used to, and you can't actually touch the ceiling or ground or any of the bubbles. So you have to be very, very careful while trying to maneuver your way around here. The jellyfish are definitely going to try to get in your way, so be sure they're either going up or down when you try to pass them. Also, try to do your best to collect as much of the money as you can while making your way through it. If you need some extra protection, you can actually use Thing in order to help you protect yourself for a small period of time with invincibility, so you can run through some of the enemies. Watch out for this fish. I once again recommending, if you do have it still left, another one of the invincibilities, and work your way over to the right through this gap. When you go through here, you'll find yourself in another one of those secret rooms where you can collect a ton of extra money. Once you exit back out, you'll be inside the water once again. Watch out for the jellyfish using another one of Thing's invincibilities if you still have it, and grab yourself the wrench. The hard part now is trying to get yourself back out of the water before you end up losing your health. This is easily the hardest area of the entire game. Just getting used to these swimming controls will definitely take some time. Once you're finally able to make it out of the deadly water, you'll be back outside inside the wooded area, and there's lots of enemies once again trying to take you out. Try to do your best to maneuver your way back through, and try to get back to the door on the far right side. Once you made it back inside the ballroom, grab the money along the ceiling areas, and make your way over to the door on the right side. Be careful though, because the dragon statues in the background will come to life and try to breathe some fire down on you. Head back over to the left and you'll be back inside the landing area, which we were before. Watch out for the knights swinging down their swords and keep moving yourself over to the left. Eventually, you'll make it to the stairs that lead up to the attic. The attic is a little bit confusing because there's a lot of one-way areas and a lot of dead ends. But if you go the correct path, you'll be able to collect a decent amount of money. Just be very careful of the giant rats as well as the bats while making your way through. While the area is a little bit confusing, thankfully it's not hard, so it's a lot easier to get through than the wooded area we were just traveling through a few minutes ago. Once you've traveled through all the paths and collected all the money that we can, we'll eventually come to a door in the lower right corner. Now we'll be actually outside on the roof area. Watch out for some of the shingles as they will break apart and try to drop down on you, as well as a vulture overhead that will try to drop rocks. It's a pretty decent walk, but eventually you'll make it over to the left side. Jump up and grab yourself some fog. By doing so, you now have all the things we need for the potion, then jump up and go inside the pipe on the top in order to enter the chimney itself. When making your way down, use the umbrella and collect yourself a whole bunch of money, as well as watch out for the bats, and you can also grab yourself an extra life along the way if you need to. You'll be back inside the study. Enter the door to go back into the library. Push this over to the left side so you can jump up and grab the musical score on the left side of the screen. Then summon Lurch once again in order to send him back into the ballroom playing this song instead. Once you've done so, travel back out and go back into the gallery. Grab yourself the extra money in case you didn't grab it earlier on in the game. Once you've done so, head back inside of the library itself. Then, enter inside this hidden door and pull the chain. Dropping down here will allow you to actually save Pugsley. Having Pugsley in your inventory will actually allow you to enter a door that leads to the end of the game. Enter inside here and go back into the gallery. If you use the bear trap on the bearskin rug earlier, he still will be trapped by it. Go inside the chain room once again, and then drop down the left side. This will take you to the secret river. In the secret river, be very careful of the things falling from the ceiling as well as the dinosaur in the water itself. Grab the extra little bit of money that you need along the way in order to reach over the $1 million mark. Once you've done so, you can actually enter the door on the far right. Jump on the table, giving the $1 million entry fee, and then enter the final room. Watch out for the evil imposter Fester as you make your way over to the right. Jump up to the very top. You'll save Morticia, and then you'll have to jump on Tully's head 3 times in order to get rid of him. By doing so, you get to enjoy the short ending to the Addams Family. Gomez and Morticia dance for just a short period of time, and then it goes to the high score screen. You can enter in your initials if you like, and then it'll go back to the main menu. You can start the game all over again. But with that, that's going to wrap up this edition of Play It Through. I'd like to thank you for watching, and of course, I hope you enjoyed.